Alright, welcome back to linear motion. Let's continue with our next example. So in the next example, as you can see, they are telling us that a car starts with a velocity of 10 meters per second. That's 10 meters per second to 30 meters per second. And it uses 20 seconds for that. Then it after maintains this velocity for more 5 seconds. So maintains it for 5 seconds. It then rises again to a higher velocity, again to 70 meters per second in 15 seconds, and then comes to rest in the next 8 seconds. So the first question there, what they are telling us is to draw or come up with a velocity time graph. So if it is a velocity time graph, we expect to have something like that. This is time and this is the velocity. So they said it starts from a velocity of 10 meters. So this is 10 up to 30. 10 up to 30 for the first 20 seconds. It was accelerating uniformly. So we know that your velocity time graph for uniform acceleration, it will be the one with a positive slope. It will be like this. We have already seen that previously. So then they told us that it maintained this velocity for the next 5 seconds. That means you're going to maintain it from 20 to 25. Then it again accelerates uniformly to 70 meters per second. What does that imply? It increases its velocity from 30 to 70 with a constant acceleration. So you're going to put 70 here and make sure that the time interval is 12 plus this 15 to give us a 40, and such that the difference is the 15 seconds. So it increases uniformly around here. Then it comes to rest in 8 seconds. So you're going to count 8 seconds from 40. That's going to be 48. And then you're done with your velocity time graph. So the second question, they were telling us to calculate the total distance. And we know that the total distance covered by the car. So we know that the total distance is equal to the area under a velocity time graph. Total distance is equal to the area under a velocity time graph. We have already seen that. Means the total distance covered by this body from where it started to where it ended, it's going to be the whole of this area under this graph. So what we can do simply is to divide our area divide our graph into parts, and we get the area of each part, then we sum up those areas. So the first part here, you can see I'm having a trapezium. So part 1 plus part 2 plus part 3 plus part 4. I have to sum up those areas. So for part 1, you're having something like this, which is a trapezium, where this is 10, this is 30. From here to here, it is a 20. Then for part 2, you're having a rectangle having something like this. From here to here it is a 5. From here to here it is a 30. Then for part 3 we are having a trapezium again, where from here to here it is a 15, the difference. From here to here the shorter side is a 30. Then from here to here the longer side is a 70. Plus the last part we're having a rectangle. From here to here we're having 8. From here to here we're having 70. So if you know the formulas of getting the area of each of these shapes, you're good to go. For part 1, this is a trapezium. This is a half times the height, which is a 20, into the shorter side plus the longer side, plus length times width, that is 30 times 5, plus again a trapezium, that is a half times 15. From here to here, here to here, it is the height, into 30 plus 70, then plus a half times the base times the height. There we go. They told us to calculate the average velocity. The average velocity. So we know that the average velocity is equal to the total distance, actually total displacement over total time taken. But in this case, the total displacement is going to be the same as the total distance covered in that direction. So which